This morning, a colleague of mine sent me this video, which you can find on YouTube, and it is so disturbing that I want to try and break it down for you. It's 45 minutes long, so I can't cover everything, but let me give you some of the highlights, or maybe lowlights. I'm Professor Einstein. I'm a former TV and advertising executive turned marketing critic. And all I can say after having watched this video is if you haven't started to take all of your content out of Chrome and switch to something else, now would be a really good time to consider that. The first half of the video gets pretty far in the weeds in terms of the technical stuff. And if you're real geeky with that kind of stuff, go watch it. She's got all the receipts and it's really fairly terrifying. Because not only is Google using information from within its own sandbox, as they were talking about it, but they're going into places where we think they aren't. So one of the examples she gives is of a young kid's paper about JFK appearing in a Google search. Well, that was in their Google Drive. That never should have been made public. That was supposed to be private. So again, if you have stuff in your Google Drive, anything you don't want somebody to know about, I'd be taking that out now, like now. Google Groups are getting indexed into Chrome. Even WhatsApp, things that people think are really private, that's getting indexed into Chrome. And we know monopolies are going to do what monopolies do. So for instance, when cable companies like a Comcast owned a cable network, they would privilege a cable network that they owned over something that was created by one of their competitors. Well, the same thing is happening with Google. Anything that Google has that is beneficial to Google will appear higher up in search engine optimization. So if you're a small producer and you're trying to get organic reach, you're being squashed down by Google. Now, I know all of us probably have some idea in our minds that this was going on, but this woman's got receipts. This information is sort of buried in the court case for Google, but she also supplemented it by her own understanding of how this works because she works in SEO, but also by talking to people who worked at Google, who studied Google, and ex-Googlers. Maybe you've noticed lately that Google Chrome updates all the time or needs to be updated all the time. I know that was happening to me and my computer was getting really glitchy. I'm going to let Cindy explain that part to you.
An uptick in Chrome updates. Chrome now updates, it feels like sometimes twice a week. This is the graph of the number of major updates that Chrome has launched, but this doesn't even include the minor updates within an update, right? Which we know have been increasing to kind of an excessive rate, it seems like sometimes. And these updates, the major updates, do to some degree also sometimes correlate with algorithm updates. And this is happening because Google needs the model that they're using on the computer to capture the data to match what it's using in the cloud to further process the data.
The other piece of information that sort of stopped me in my tracks was this about Reddit. Now, Google has a big stake in Reddit, and they could be mining the information in Reddit, which tends to be far more community-based and personal than other places where they might be getting information from us. While you may think you're anonymous in Reddit, in fact, that information through Chrome can be tied to you. You've heard me talk here about third-party cookies and how Google was talking about how they were going to get rid of them. And suddenly, all of a sudden, they decided that no, in fact, they weren't going to get rid of them. What she's arguing in this video is that Google thinks people will be more comfortable with third-party cookies than with understanding the massive data grab that they did, claiming they were going to get rid of cookies. And remember, all of this is being done to create demographic cohorts based on your behavior, on who you engage with, on the information you interact with, in order to be able to sell you to advertisers. This is all about advertisers. It's always follow the money.